Good morning, everyone, or whatever time it is when you're watching this video. Today I'm going to do a quick look at another French press video, and specifically the Kohipress, which I was gifted. And so this is not me selling a product, but it is me talking about how to brew with a French press style. And this is a travel press. So I've got some water boiled down here. I'm going to take a look at this and brew into it. A little bit of instruction, so stay tuned. Okay, like I said, we have the Kohipress here. There's a lid on the top and you can drink out of that lid. I've got my camera down so you can see the scale soon. And then there's the plunger with a filter, and the coffee goes on the inside here. So, first point I want to make, this is a 400 milliliter brewer. And so if you don't know how much coffee to use for the specific coffee to water ratio, there's a couple ways to do that. And we'll use a regular French press to demonstrate here real quick. Now this is a pretty typical looking French press, something that I've had for years. It's actually a Starbucks Bodum, which is great quality. French presses are designed so that you put the appropriate amount of coffee to fill up that bottom gap down here. Let me show you. So if you fill the press with this much coffee, and then you fill the remainder with water up to the fill line, up to the pour line, then you'll have the appropriate coffee to water ratio. So if there's a gap down here, you don't add enough coffee, it's going to be weak. If you can't depress this all the way down, then you're going to be overly strong. So this is the ideal amount of coffee for any French press. Now, if you don't have a typical plunger, or you can't really, it's kind of hard to see in here, how far is this going to go down? What you can do is you can weigh out, you can do a measurement, how much water your brewer holds. And this is true for anything, whether it's a French press or another. You can check the brewing capacity and then set your coffee accordingly. So here I just have some regular water here. And I can see on the inside there's a max line. Kind of got this on an angle because I want you to be able to see the scale, but I don't want it to tip over. Okay, so this is the max line, 443. So 450. The problem is when I press this in, all of this, the plunger is going to displace a lot of water. And so I've actually done this before, and I only want 400 milliliters of water. We got 409, 403. So I'm going to push this in here. Yeah, and that is totally filled right to the top. Let me see if you can see this here. So if I were to put that much water in, now there's not even coffee in here. See, that's filled right up to the top. So if I went any further, that would spill over. Now, 400 would be like the danger level. So what I'm going to do with this specific brew, I'm going to brew at 300 ml. And then I'm going to add water just to top it off. So my finished brew will be right there at 400 ml. And I'm going to show you how to calculate how much coffee right coming up. Great. So 1 to 15 brew ratio on the French press is really what I like. I like to start with it strong, and then you can always add water. Some people will be adding milk or something else. So I've got a natural processed El Salvador San Antonio. It's a really nice kind of a medium roasted coffee. It's going to be big body because it's a natural processed and it's got that medium roast. So I'm going to do 26 grams. Now if this was just already pre-ground, like on my first French press that I showed you, I could just fill that bottom gap between the screen and the bottom of the French press to get this done. So we're going to grind this coarse. Okay, got a coarse ground, kind of like golden sugar, if you have a golden sugar packet. And then we're going to open up the press here and pour the coffee inside. Now, you don't want to, if you do get coffee around the edges of your French press, whatever style French press you're brewing, you want to just use the water to kind of work that down, rinse off the edges. And so I'm going to do that because this is a much too large a bowl to get my coffee in. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the stirring spoon that they gave me here, and I'm going to spoon it in. Okay. Now I'm going to treat this just like a normal French press. Got water off the boil, so it'll be right at that kind of 93 to 96 degree Celsius. Okay, got the coffee in there, and we'll brew for 4 minutes. So I'm going to tare this again, so I'm at 0, and then like I said, I'm going to put 300 grams of water in, and then after I plunge it, I can go ahead and just fill it up right at the top there. Okay, so I'll start my timer. And then initially, I'm just going to, like I said, pour onto the edges of this, and whether I have a big French press or a travel French press, that's the way I'm going to do it. And then here's something I like to do with my French press. Once I get a good amount of water in there, I just swirl it a little. Or if you have a handy stirring spoon, you can go ahead and stir the coffee as well. The goal is just to make sure that all the coffee is wet, it's not clumping together, it's all working with the water. So let's get our 300 in here real quick. Now, 300, it's going to be 3/4, 2/3 to 3/4 full. Perfect, because that gives me room to start the plunge just to displace it. Now, like any French press, I just want to get this, I can hear it pressing out the air. I just want to get this into the top of the coffee, kind of where it's full of air and bubbles, it's degassing. So I'm not going to plunge it yet. I'm going to go ahead and wait for the full 4 minutes. 4 minutes. We just reached 4 minutes, and now it's time to plunge the coffee down into the press. Okay, so I'm going to press this in. What's happening is that bottom screen, just like on any French press, is pushing the coffee down, and then it's allowing the coffee grounds are getting pushed down, and then it's allowing the coffee brew to come up. So on this particular one, depending if you have a travel press of some kind, I'm going to screw this in just so I finish it, seal it off. Okay, so the grounds are trapped down here, and then this is lovely coffee. It's only full to about this line, which is good because I can just add this much water. What I've effectively done is I've brewed a concentrated French press, and then for my appropriate taste and a bit more clarity, I'm just going to top it off. There we go, right at the top there, you can see without spilling. Okay, so this you can drink right off of it. It's got a lid on there, or you can keep it hot. Throw that in your backpack, side pocket, nice and thin, and you can go. I am going to drink this. Got a handy little camping mug. Again, I'm not selling this stuff, but I like to use things that I personally enjoy. Titanium camping mug for a French press is the way to go. This is actually a 450 milliliter mug, so perfect match. But you can see it's not quite full. It's 4/5 full. And that's because some of the water is still kind of locked up down there, and I didn't want to overfill this. I didn't want that to overflow. So there we go. Cheers. It's going to be really hot. It's good full flavor, good sweetness, good sweetness, good body. Just what I want on a cold day with my French press. Cheers. This is a really nice, big-bodied, sweet, bold, you can say, El Salvador natural process, San Antonio coffee. I really like this. It's a warming coffee. You know, you're drinking it out of your titanium mug. Keep your hands warm. It's cold out today. If you would like to learn more about French press or just kind of figure out how do I do French press just right, leave me a comment, ask some questions. I don't sell French presses, but I sell great coffee, and I'd love to help you just figure out how to make your French press taste better. Kohi is giving away, what are they giving away? A press. And so what they want you to do is follow their page. There should be some details down here. I'll add them in the show notes. Follow their page, like it, share it with a friend, and you could win a free Kohi press. It's just fun to check out other coffee gear. So many different ways to brew coffee and enjoy it. What I do like about this one is it's nice and thin. It fit nicely in my backpack. Even if I had to pre-grind the coffee and throw it into the bottom of this, or like throw it in a little Ziploc bag or something, throw it down there, and then later when I'm out, add some boiling water, and it's just ready to go. So see if you can win one of those and share what works, what doesn't work on your French press. If you have any problems with brewing on the French press, love to hear from you, even if it's the traditional style, if it's a little travel. Let me know. Subscribe, share, and I'll talk to you next time.